What's up, everybody? It's Dom Heck from Wizdom Cast. Today we have a great friend of mine as our guest, Master John Ozuna. John is an extremely talented martial artist who holds a black belt in Bokfudo and a 6 Tuan red sash in the World Kuoshu Federation. He represented the USA in the 1992 World Kuoshu Championship, and he represented the USA in the 1992 European Cup. He has coached national and world martial arts champions. He is an actor, stuntman, and fight choreographer. His resume is ridiculous, and I could probably sit here for another 20 minutes reading off some of his achievements. But rather than do that, I would like to present Master John Ozuna.
Hey, Dominic, it's great to be here with you, buddy. Thank you for the great intro. That was a very nice intro. I had no idea I had done any of those things.
Well, I'll be honest, John, I was going through everything, and you have so many achievements, man, that are just awesome. And, you know, you're a great dude, and you've done a lot of great things in the world, and you still have so much more to do. So it's awesome to have you as a guest. I appreciate you coming on. I
appreciate that very much, buddy. It's my honor, buddy.
Yeah, but just going right into things. You know, obviously, we can see that you're sitting in your school, KO Kung Fu. I know that is your pride and joy. How long has KO Kung Fu been around?
Well, you know, we've had KO Kung Fu since 1989. So this summer, we're actually celebrating our 31st anniversary.
Wow.
You know, I've been in martial arts for nearly 40 years. You know, my first experience in martial arts was, of all things, judo. You know, and I did that for a summer program when I was, I want to say, about 7 years old, and didn't take it again, you know, until I was, you know, roughly about 12 or 13 years old. But, you know, don't do the math on that because you'll figure out my age.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely wanted to start out by talking a little bit how you did get started out into martial arts. Obviously now, I believe are you the vice president of the IBFDA, or what is your position on that? Because I can see you sitting at this high table right here. And how does that kind of work out?
Yeah, so I am the vice president of the International Bokfudo Association. That was first founded by my teacher, that is Senior Grandmaster Richard Lee, who founded Bokfudo. He's been my teacher for as long as I've taken martial arts. He has been my father figure in a lot of ways, my Kung Fu father. You know, and he's the person that has provided the groundwork, the road work, you know, the foundation of just about everything I do with my life, because everything I do has a martial arts roots to it. So it's just resonates with absolutely every aspect of my life.
Wow, that's awesome. And is that him sitting in the middle here in that picture?
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, it's him sitting right in the middle. So you could always tell, because he's actually very statuesque big man. He's about 6'3". Wow. You know, he you know, almost Olympic qualifier for swimming. You know, again, just has produced you know, masters and grandmaster, and has been just a historic figure in Chinese martial arts. His students and his you know, competitive students are among the best in the world. You know, a lot of them are anywhere from between 2-time, 3-time, 4-time, 5-time, 6-time world champions in full contact fighting.
Wow, that's awesome for sure. And I definitely wanted to talk about you and your achievements in the sport. So you were a competitive Lei Tai fighter. Am I right on that?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Lei Tai right now, Lei Tai would be the more traditional reference. It refers to the platform that you're actually competing on. So it's like a, you know, platform that's about 24 by 24. It's about 3 feet off the ground. There's no ropes. There's no cage. You know, it's just if you throw the person or hit the person off the platform, they've got a certain amount of time to get back on and continue fighting. You know, so it's exciting from that aspect. And I have been fighting for the majority of my competitive career. You know, I have fought all over the United States, all over Asia, all over Europe. Have had the privilege of representing the United States in the European Cup in Spain, 1992,
nice.
As well as the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the World Championships, you know, back at also 1992. So those
crazy.
Were the most amazing times in terms of competitive martial arts.
Yeah, and I see in the picture here that move you're doing. I've definitely been kicked in the face by that move right there. I've seen you throw that at me in a couple films, but we'll talk about that stuff later.
You got it.
But I did want to compliment you on your school again. You have absolutely fantastic students. I've had the honor of stopping by a couple times. We've done a couple of our trainings there for some films that we've done. Tell me a little bit about your students and just how everything's going with the school during these crazy times, and just your thoughts on it overall.
You know what? Just it's one of those things where we go through our process of our life, trying to educate ourselves and trying to be the best version of ourselves as we can, through martial arts and other education. But then there's the give back. You have got to share that information, and I've been honored, to be in my students' lives and share my knowledge and my wisdom and my guidance in motivating them to achieve a lot of their dreams. What we're going through right now, these are interesting and strange times. Never in my life had I ever thought that we would ever experience what we were experiencing. But, given that, right now we're going into a complete cyber martial arts system. We're teaching our students via Zoom. We're teaching them throughout the week. We teach anywhere between 3 to 4 classes a day, almost each day. And it's adaptation. Everybody is learning how to learn in a whole different format, in a whole different platform. And I am amazed at how people are adapting to this new way of life that we're living. And I love the fact that their passion for martial arts, their passion to learn is so intact and so ingrained that they just make it a fun experience.
Yeah.
What I do is a lot of work because I put my heart and soul into it, and I always have. But it's never felt like a job. I don't feel like, I've got to get up early in the morning and go to work. It's to me, it's just a privilege to be in these people's lives and have the role that I have with them. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it's, I've always taught my students that to be the most effective person that you can be is that you have to adapt to a changing environment, be part of the solution as opposed to contribute to the issues, and adapt to the change.
That's awesome. And one of the people that we can see in the front of the picture here is Katie, your student. Is Katie still there at the studio right now?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, she is. You know what?
You gotta bring her over
Give me
here for a
just a
second.
moment.
Because I think there's a story worth telling about her that I think is awesome.
Absolutely. Let's get you right over here.
Yeah.
So let me introduce. This is
Hi, Katie.
Miss. There you go. That's Miss Katie Schmidt. I want to make sure I give you enough screen time there. There we go. There we go. Katie's been my student for about 16 years, and she's been with us since she was a child. I've seen her grow up to be a professional, mature, strong young lady that contributes every day. She is a very important component of KO Kung Fu School. She has competed in 2 world competitions. She went to Argentina to compete in the World Championships, representing the United States in Lei Tai fighting as well as other events.
Yeah.
She recently took first place, in the world's in the United States. So she's a world champion at full contact weapons competition, weapons fighting, which is a very unique sort of competition that we do.
That's awesome.
She is the most gracious, humble, kindest person that you can ever ask to be, and just quite an amazing student.
Don't let that confuse you though, because I've seen her hit the pads and stuff, and once she starts doing that, she becomes a whole nother human being.
Oh, absolutely.
You're intense. I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
she's
I
great.
remember watching, obviously injuries come with the sport and you had your injury, but watching you go out and still perform after that injury was like an inspiring thing. I was like, wow, that is like epic. Katie, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what was going through your head when that happened? Like your injury and then making the decision to still go out and participate in the competition.
Yeah, just a little bit of background on that. This was actually last summer in
Yeah.
the international championship tournament in Baltimore. I was up on the lake I was fighting, and there was an unfortunate incident where I actually ended up breaking my leg during the fight.
Yeah.
The other fighter, we were doing a throw, and they landed on my leg.
Oh.
So there's a whole list of things that happened with that injury. I'm actually today 4 months post operation on total knee reconstruction.
Yeah.
But the day after that happened, I had shattered my femur and my tibia. I was supposed to go on to a second day of competition. I had, I think, 5 other events that were supposed to be scheduled for the next day. And I approached Master Ozuna. We got back from the hospital literally right in time for him to run up into a demonstration. So he comes back off of the demonstration, the Master's demonstration. And I told him, I still want to compete tomorrow. I think I can modify my form.
Wow.
He said, sure. Okay, go ahead. And I actually ended up doing 1 out of the, I think it was 5 events that I had scheduled for the next day. I did an open hand form, and I actually ended up doing a different form than I had been training for.
Yeah.
I went out and I did it. And
That was awesome. I saw that video and I was like, Katie, you are a savage. That's awesome.
oh, it's very kind. It's very kind. Thank you.
Let's put it
Much,
mildly, buddy.
yeah. That is much respect to do that. If that was me, I would have laid in bed and just ate food and hung out and cried myself to sleep at night.
Trust
You
me, it was 2 days after making weight. There was plenty of eating.
there you go. There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Katie's one of John's students, longtime students, and like I said, John has a bunch of fantastic students I've seen, and you guys have a great school, so much respect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to pull up the logo here, KO Kung Fu Karate. But moving right along, I wanted to go into this step. So tell me if I'm right on this. Is this the picture from when you set the Guinness World Record? Is that this picture?
Yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, it's
Okay.
kind of funny. That comes with kind of a unique story because, when you're a kid, you dream. You fantasize, you dream about who you want to be, what you want to be, and that's how my martial arts started. I think with anybody my age or my generation, Bruce Lee was by far the biggest impact in terms of martial arts. I mean, he still is. I mean, he's still,
Yeah.
very much a legend. But that was my first influence. And when we were kids, my brother and I were kids. I think one of the things that we used to love is get that next issue of the Guinness Book of World Records, because we'd always just look
Those
through
books, yeah.
Oh yeah, the paper, because we would get the paperbacks and we'd look through, and it'd be everything from amazing sporting events or sporting records to just most of this and largest of that and smallest of this, and when I was a kid, I was going, wow, wouldn't it be so cool to get my name on there?
Yep.
But that wasn't the motivation. It was so unusual. We were doing a child safety seminar and event, and it's part of our KO Cares program. Very unfortunately, there was a young lady that was attacked, abducted, and abused. She
Oh, wow.
survived the ordeal, but she was sexually abused. And rather than it be a statistic, what we did is we band together to provide a KO Cares program. And back then it meant child assault resolution efforts.
Yeah.
So we wherever we went, we just tried to go to any organization and just really teach children how to be safe in the community. So it was really based on that. So I was with my daughter,
Yep.
who's also a fighter.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
I was talking to her in our kitchen. I said, "Hey, how can I bring attention to this?" And it was really, she was the one. I mean, she goes, "Hey, Dad," she calls me Poppy. She goes, "Poppy, um, how about setting some world records?" And I
Yeah,
thought, sure, let's go for it.
that's
And that
awesome.
was it. That was it. And there were two world records. So there was one for the fastest punch in the world, which is 43.3 miles per hour.
Nice.
And the other one is most punches in a minute, which is 713 punches in a minute. So
Ooh.
we
I might have
we
to get
did
my
it.
stopwatch out and see what I can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to punch something, buddy. So I hope you're available.
That's awesome. No, and I'm really glad you brought up KO Cares. That was one thing I did mean to bring up. Um, so is that still going on? How long has that been happening, the KO Cares thing? And if you could
Yeah,
elaborate a
it's
little bit
been. I
more.
want to say, wow, buddy. I want to say that it has been with us for the last at least 20 years.
Yeah.
It's gone from really focusing on children to now focusing on the community. So we will teach anybody and everybody how to protect themselves, how to defend themselves. We've been through the school system, just elementary school, middle school, high school, and taught all the different age levels that's unique to their age how to protect themselves. We do women's self-defense classes. We do corporate self-defense as well.
Yeah.
Where we've worked with some big names in terms of corporate companies. I don't want to mention any right now,
Yep.
but where we'll go and teach their employees how to protect themselves. We have gone to senior citizen centers. We have gone to blind centers. We Anybody that will have us to show and demonstrate and educate how to just protect one's self and just lead a more productive and healthier and happier life. That's what we're all about. That's what KO Cares is about.
Yeah, that's great. And I see one of the things I left off your intro is that you're a motivational speaker, because what I see you do is you take a lot of the things you've learned from martial arts and been able to bring them into, how you interact in your everyday life. And I think that's one thing that you always teach your students and show your students, and things you've even taught me just from our conversation. So I think that's great. You use martial arts to make the world a better place. That's honestly really great.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. And moving right along, so tell me about, because I don't even know the full story. Like, how did you get into acting? How did you find it? How did you realize this is what you want to do? This is what you want to pursue as well? What was your starting point for everything?
It's funny that you say that. It's actually happened some time ago. Um, with martial arts, and you go through the tournament circuit and you take it on from a regional level to a national level to an international level. And if you do well, you gain a certain amount of recognition.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, martial arts and entertainment just go hand in hand. I can't think of any action film that doesn't have some form of martial arts in there where they're demonstrating unique styles and unique systems of martial arts. So I was approached a long time ago to help out with fighting on a set.
Nice.
And then it just took off from there. It really did, and
Yep.
then it went from fight choreography sequences to acting opportunities to modeling opportunities to and then it grew from there, and it went from small independent projects to much larger projects, and it's something that has just been growing on its own in a way, just naturally.
Yeah.
um, and it's something that I've always had a desire to do. Simply, because as a martial artist, it's a way of expressing yourself, and that self-expression is a lot of what you do when you entertain. You're bringing yourself into a given scenario, and you share your talents, with whatever media situation it is, or you bring it to the world, and it's just a tremendous amount of fulfillment to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, either way it happened, I'm glad that movies found you or you found movies because you're fantastic at it and a
Thank
lot of
you.
skills. But I do have to say, you were not the only talented one in your family. And as we kind of mentioned earlier, your daughter Sabrina, she also is involved in the entertainment industry on a different end, on a different area. Tell me a little bit about her and what she does in terms of her makeup and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Sabrina, my daughter, she's just any proud dad would say she's a beautiful, young, kind lady, but she's vicious. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, buddy. Yeah, she's vicious.
Just like when Katie hits the pads, I've seen Sabrina hit the pads
Yeah.
too, and it's scary. They're like, I feel like Katie and Sabrina are like characters out of a Street Fighter game. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
oh, buddy, it's like Beauty and the Beast all rolled up in one.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it is.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
that's what it is. My daughter also, she's done a lot of tournament fighting, full contact fighting. She's been a student of martial arts since she was like 4 years old. I mean, I think she had probably no choice because her dad's, martial artist. So, but she's definitely in the industry. Her aspect of it, or her portion of it, is more makeup. So
Yeah,
she does everything from beauty makeup to special effects makeup. She's worked on a number of different TV, film projects. Lately, she has been one of the official makeup artists whenever they have um, Walking Dead conventions, which is the Walker Stalker conventions.
yep,
They call her, they bring her in. She and her partner, which is Michelle, they're both amazing makeup artists.
yeah,
They
they really
have
are.
they have done makeups for a long list of celebrities. People that everybody knows, that we all know, and that we've all grown up with, and she has had the privilege of being their makeup artist, and she's extremely talented. She's always striving for that next level of achievement, and that next goal. So yeah, thank you for bringing her up. She's
Yeah,
a wonderful young lady.
I even grabbed some shots of some makeup she did for. I think this was all for Blood Relative, wasn't it? This all was for Blood
Yeah, it
Relative.
was. Well,
Yeah, so you can
I,
just see some of the stuff. This is just some of the stuff because, like you're talking about, the zombie stuff she does is crazy. Where she can do full on face
yeah.
sculptures of just insane things. Anyone who is into that type of stuff, go check out her Instagram. She's got loads of pictures. But here's a couple here of some buddies of ours, and that's her friend Michelle, I believe. I haven't met her, but
Yeah.
that's her friend
Yeah.
Michelle, who she works with a lot on stuff. And
Yeah.
they did the makeup for a film that John and I were both in called Blood Relative. And I mean, you can just see that some of this stuff looks so realistic. It's crazy. It's so talented.
Yeah, yeah. I was hoping you'd say that I did that to Jeff, but yeah, I can't take the credit for that one.
I think one was a baseball bat to one of their faces, maybe, or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was.
that.
It was.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah,
Well,
Sabrina's super talented for sure.
thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving right along, talking about Blood Relative. This is the first film that you and I met on. I pulled up this picture of you ripping my eyes out. We choreographed this whole scene the first time we met. How many times did we practice for this one, you think?
You know what? We put some good time into it. We
Yeah.
did. But I think a lot of it was also on the day of.
Yeah.
It really was, because it always changes. And let me tell you, by far, that's still one of my favorite fight scenes.
Yeah.
Is the one between you and I, along the railroad tracks. You did a great job, Dominic. Let
Yeah.
me tell you, buddy,
Thank you.
you're
Thank you.
very talented. You got a good set skill there, and you challenged me, so I appreciate that.
No, I loved it. Working with on this day, it was kind of like our chemistry was just starting. You know what I mean? Because it was
Yeah.
our first time really working together, and we've gone on to do a bunch more stuff together, and we have things
Mhm.
in the pipeline that we're gonna do too. But I mean, the set was honestly amazing. The train tracks in the background
Yeah.
and the train coming in, that whole area that Michael Fredianelli, his film Blood Relative, that him and Marilyn were able to find. That
Yeah.
place was awesome to shoot at for sure. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. I mean, that scene. I still have a few scars from that scene. I still have nightmares when you tried to throw me the train tracks when the train was coming. So I still have nightmares
I
about that,
tried to
buddy.
get your head taken off on that one. I tried to get your head
Yes,
taken
you
off.
did.
So
Oh goodness
in
me.
this film, you had the supporting role, and then moving right along into another Fred and Ellie film, you got the lead role in the film The Infinity Project. Um,
Yeah.
how how was that experience? You know, playing the lead role, being the main character. You know, everything's on you. You know, all eyes are on you at that point. What was your experience like with this film?
That's good. I mean, it was. I think anything with a Michael Fredinelli film is always a positive experience.
Yeah.
He's very creative. Um, it's when you take on the lead role, and then you have also the responsibility of creating all the fight choreography and executing fight choreography. That adds that extra challenge to this. And I mean, that's really the yin and the yang. I mean, that's really taking those two halves and pulling them together. It definitely takes a lot more focus and a lot more time to execute everything, so that way everything is picture perfect. And but let me tell you, when you have filmmakers like Michael Fredinelli and company, they make that journey much easier because they
Yeah.
know how to work with you. They know how to bring the best out, from you, and put it into the project. And I was very honored, and flattered to be asked to play the lead on that one. It was again by far one of my favorite films I've done that I've had the lead on.
Yep.
And it's kind of a complete. I don't know, it's kind of that complete package of a great action sci-fi thriller. It has a little bit of everything that somebody might want to see in a film. And it was great to bring it to life. To go from the concept of it. You're reading through the script, and then obviously executing it.
Yep.
The actors were phenomenal.
Definitely.
One of them who played opposite Jeannie Young, who
Yep.
had the lead female role. Let me tell you,
Jeannie's awesome.
she's fantastic. And she, I've had the privilege of working with a set amount of actors where I have scenes with them that I'm also taking notes,
Yep.
and I'm thinking, wow, okay, that's how to deliver that line. That's how to convey that emotion. I'm very honored to have worked with somebody like Jeannie Young, who just hits it out of the park every time she does the scene.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely got to compliment you as well, too, because the fight stuff and the martial arts stuff and the fight choreography, I feel like you've already had that perfect for a while, a long
Thank you,
time.
man.
But over the course of the time that I've known you, I've really seen your acting side really elevate, and you're just growing and growing, getting better and better. And I think Infinity Project, you did an absolutely fantastic job. People can check that film out on Amazon Prime. Definitely go see it. John, the lead role with Jeannie in that one, and they both did a fantastic job in that film for sure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then I had to pull this picture up. This picture is awesome. So this is you and Tony in the film from the film Cabal that just came out last month, right? Was it last month?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
last
was.
month. We just had I tagged you in it, but we just did a Zoom viewing party where we had a bunch of the people in it watching the film, and everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. But tell me
That's
about your
great.
experiences working with Tony, working with Renee, and then just the film Cabal overall.
Let me tell you, Cabal again. So I had the lead role on that one, with the responsibility of executing, the acting as well as all the martial arts fight sequences. But
Yep.
let me tell you, Rene Perez, that's the writer director of this film. He has a very unique style of filming. Everything is just so beautiful. So he does a lot of horror films with the horror genre. And for lack of a better way of expressing this, he takes something that could be grotesque, but he'll make it beautiful.
Yeah.
Just from a cinematic quality of it. And he certainly did that with this film. There's a lot of gross parts of this this
Yep.
film,
It's
and
intense. It's a horror
but
film for sure. It's a horror
it
film for
is,
sure.
it is, and it's one of those films where you don't know where it's going to take you because it has an unassuming beginning to it where you don't know where it's going to take you. Then all of a sudden, you have that horror element to it.
Yep.
Um, it's filming because I'm having to wear, so I'm really two characters, because I'm having to wear also, a suit, and I'm wearing this headgear where, we have temperatures of 110 plus degrees wherever we're filming, and we're filming for, 12 hours, let's say, in a single day, and it's summer, and we're
Yeah.
filming in Redding, California. As beautiful as it is over there, it is hot as hell,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you feel like you're there. And the amount of preparation it takes in terms of getting yourself, physically, emotionally, and mentally prepared for a film like that, you've got to be at your optimum, because when you're filming, you're filming. So regardless of the conditions and regardless of the heat and everything else, you've got to be on.
Yeah.
And one of the people that really helped me carry that through was
Yeah.
Tony Jackson. Tony, let me tell you, master martial artist, young actor, and he's been in some quality films.
Yep.
He played, the horrific image that you have there.
Yep.
He played just this coolest character, and just what he had to do, to bring out, that character, bring it to life. It's so funny, because it's like taking like what you think of like the most horrific horror guy is, but then you build him up to be this incredible strong guy, and you make him extra dangerous. So that's the way it was with him.
Yeah, I
And
gotta
let me tell
say,
you,
Tony looked like a beast in that role when
oh,
he comes out and he's screaming. And because you and I both know he was in the gym, he was packing on some pounds during this. He was all in, and he looked scary in this thing for sure. He looked scary.
oh yeah, oh he was, and he and I, going into this, he and I had this kind of martial arts code agreement. We're going to make it as real as possible.
Yeah.
So a lot of that action was absolutely real. A
Yep.
lot of it was real. So meaning that there was a lot of contact made. So
Yep.
and being hit, by a guy like Tony Jackson, I swear you feel that you just have an out of body experience sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I got to compliment you on the whole mask aspect too, because you had those tiny little holes, and there was points where you had to throw some spinning back kicks at us, and I was like, well, I'm gonna trust John here, and honestly, it felt great. So great job on that. Great job on that, because I thought my head was gonna get taken off a couple times.
Thank you, brother.
And
Thank
then
you. Thank you.
talking about Renee and his cinematography too, I do have to say the views he creates are amazing. There was the scene in that film where they were kind of shooting off like the blue and the pink smoke, and they were doing like the
Yeah,
photography
yeah.
scene, and they had the music playing in the background, which he also composes the music for.
Mhm.
And that scene was just like really cool. It looked just beautiful, and his skills
Yeah.
are great. And then the other star in the movie, Eva, is it Eva?
Yes,
Eva, right?
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she did a great job too. Very talented actress. She's based out of L.A., I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, she's out of the Hollywood area. Now,
Yeah.
Eva Hamilton, let me tell you, there's a young lady that is absolutely, she has it all. She
Yeah.
really, really does. She is a classically trained actress. Which means that involves more than just acting. She sings. She's obviously a beautiful young lady. She spent a good amount of time, modeling, and she has it all. She really does. And again, one of the situations where, we have several scenes together. Just when she's going through the dialogue, you're watching how she's delivering those lines, and you're learning.
Yep.
And in this industry, you never ever feel that you've made it to the top. You are always a student of the craft.
Yep.
And again, for me, I'm always taking notes on these individuals, and Eva is phenomenal. She really is. She hit it out of the park in this film.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you all did a great job in this film. Came out really well, and definitely looking forward to see what else you guys can do with Renee.
Yeah.
Moving right along. So tell me, what does Master John Ozuna have planned next? What's in the pipeline? What are you working on? I know we're all on lockdown with the coronavirus, waiting on some films,
Wow.
but what are you kind of getting ready for? And what's to come?
There's actually a lot happening. I've had the great fortune of having a lot of projects lined up. The next, which is going to come up once we get the green light to start producing, I'm working on a film called Demon Fighter. It is written and directed by David Espinosa. It is along with CRA Entertainment with Craig Arons. And let me tell you, this is again another unique project. I do have a lead role. Long story short, I play a priest that has a very, very difficult background, and he's honing his skills in terms of exorcism and martial arts, and combining those two elements together. It makes for a very interesting film, and
it's based on a true story too, right? Isn't it?
It's based on a true story with actual events.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to be involved with something that's so challenging. I want to say by far, this is my most challenging acting venture. Most certainly it's going to have a lot of the great fight scenes and whatnot in there, but it is taking any actor's acting opportunity to a whole different level. And I hear there's one big star that's going to be there named Dominic. So.
I will be tagging along for this film. Thank you very much for bringing me in, John. I appreciate it. But yeah, John and I will be throwing down again. So we have to get to work on our end once everything's done with this coronavirus stuff, and then hopefully we can put together another great scene to add into this film and make it that much better.
Absolutely.
And also Jeannie's in this one again too, right?
Yes, she is.
Jeannie.
She plays the lead female on this one. Again, what it took to audition for these parts and to actually achieve them with great scrutiny, it was phenomenal. And Jeannie, again, she's just an amazing actress. She hit it out of the park in her auditions. They really wanted her, and she's in. As long as everybody else's parts. I mean, everybody was very, very scrutinized, and in terms of, they really wanted the best person for that role, the absolute best person, because they know what they want to bring out into this, and they know what they want to get out of this. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I haven't been able to meet Dave and Craig in person yet, but just the small times I've talked to them through emails and on the phone and stuff like that, they seem like really cool guys. I checked out some of their work too, and everything looks super clean stuff. So I'm looking forward to this project for sure. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have other things, in down the line. So I've got roughly about 3 or 4 other projects, feature films that I'll be working on. I'll be working with the likes of, Matt Clark, amazing, director producer. Max Cherky, which is, again, phenomenal. I'll be working with Jean-Claude Van Damme, actually.
Wow, no way.
One of the films. So I'm working with Jean-Claude coming up here pretty soon, and who knows, we might have a pretty cool fight scene.
That's awesome. Let's make that happen. That would be sick. That's awesome, John. Well, right on, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. You don't have to hop off. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. But tell everyone where they can find you. So I know you have a website for your school, kokungfu.com. Is that correct? Is that the right?
Yeah, that's correct. They can check out the school and anything about the school on kokungfu.com. I am on, Facebook, Instagram, just my name, John Ozuna. You can just, look at my name and you'll find me somewhere out there. I mean, anytime anybody wants to just send me, a quick message or whatever, I'm happy to hear from everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on, John. It's been great, and loved having you, and look forward to seeing what you're going to continue to do. Great things.
Thank you so much, Dominic. Hey, keep on doing a great job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everyone have a good one.
All right, take care. Have a great one.